Lesson 7. What makes stock prices move up or down? Part 2. The power of long-term growth. Please read and pay attention to the disclaimer on this slide. Let's talk about company reporting periods. It's important. Then we can get to the fun stuff like the expectations game and the stock market's focus on the future. So, let's go through it with as little pain as possible. Companies report their operating results 4 times a year. Each period is called a quarter and covers 3 months. When companies report their fourth quarter, they also provide their annual report, which covers the past 12 months. For most companies, their annual report is published as of December 31st. That means the first quarter ends on March 31st, the second quarter on June 30th, the third quarter on September 30th, and the fourth quarter on December 31st. If a company chooses a different date for its year end, then that's the date for their annual report, not December 31st. It may be a bit confusing, but if you look at a couple of reports, you'll catch on quickly. What drives stock prices depends on the time frame you're looking at. In the short term, stocks tend to move the most around their reporting periods for 2 reasons. The first reason is the expectations game, and the second reason is the stock market's fixation with something called forward guidance. Before companies report their quarterly results, investors already have expectations regarding those results. Additionally, companies will typically provide guidance on future operating performance called forward guidance. Think of a hurdles race. If a company delivers results better than expectations, it clears the first hurdle. If it raises guidance for the future quarters, then it clears the second hurdle and wins the medal, and the stock price usually goes up. If they don't beat expectations and raise their guidance, then in that case, the company doesn't clear the hurdle and it loses the race. The stock price usually goes down. Now we're going to do a case study on the expectations game. Have you ever heard of the company Roblox? This company came up with the brilliant strategy of encouraging video game players to design their own video games and share them on the Roblox platform. The user-generated content is central to the Roblox experience. The company has been an incredible success story, growing into a multi-billion-dollar business. For the 3-month period ending June 30th, 2023, the second quarter, Roblox recorded $781 million in revenue. That represented a 22% increase in revenue from the same 3-month period a year ago. Does that sound like a good level of annual revenue growth? If I told you the average revenue growth for the 500 companies that make up the S&P 500 index is between 4 to 5% per year, you'd say 22% is a very good level of revenue growth from Roblox. So, how do you think the stock price reacted to its earnings report? The stock price fell 22% in a single day in response to its earnings report. I'll repeat that. The stock fell 22% in response to a quarter where the company reported a very strong 22% growth in revenue. I know you're asking why'd that happen. Revenue expectations for Roblox revenue in the quarter were for $785 million. The actual result of $781 million, while good, missed expectations by $4 million. Missing expectations often results in a negative stock price reaction, sometimes a severe one. What do I mean by missing expectations? Consensus expectations for company earnings are the average forecasts of a group of Wall Street analysts for a specific quarter or annual period. Investors pay very close attention to how actual performance compares relative to these expectations. There's an important lesson here. The company missed revenue expectation by only 0.5%, yet the stock dropped by a whopping 22%. Doesn't that seem like an overreaction? When companies miss expectations, even if by just a little bit, there's a group of investors on Wall Street who automatically have to sell their stock. It's called forced selling. They have to get out of the name by their own rules. Overreaction to these events can sometimes present a buying opportunity by taking advantage of the forced selling. For Roblox, let's flash forward to the next quarter and see what happened. Well, For the 3-month period ending September 30th, 2023, positive trends continued in its business, and the company generated $839 million in revenue, beating expectations of $830 million by $9 million. The stock jumped 12%. Investors who were paying attention to the improvement in business and took advantage of the forced selling that occurred after the June quarter report were rewarded with a big score. I promised you we'd talk more about forward guidance. Forward guidance is a statement made by a company about its future financial performance. It is typically given after the company releases its quarterly earnings report. Forward guidance can include estimates of revenue, earnings per share, and other financial metrics. However, it's important to remember that forward guidance is not always accurate. Things can change in the future, and companies can miss their targets. Here's a quick and simple guide to forward guidance. When companies raise their forward guidance, it's usually good for the stock price. Conversely, when companies lower their forward guidance, it's usually bad for the stock price. Let's examine a case of a company raising forward guidance. Amazon, the online retail and cloud computing giant, not only beat expectations for their June 2023 quarter, they also raised revenue guidance for the next quarter from $138 billion to $141 billion. That's why the stock jumped 8% in one day, a rise in share price that's quite unusual for a company as big as Amazon. Now let's discuss a case involving a company lowering forward guidance. Enphase, a manufacturer of solar panel equipment, reported second quarter 2023 revenue of $711.1 million, which was a whopping 34% higher than a year ago. Remember, the average growth for a company in the S&P 500, an index of the largest leading companies, is around 5%. 34% is incredible growth. And yet the stock dropped 26% over the following month after that strong report. The problem was guidance. Enphase significantly brought down their guidance for the next quarter from a previous $748 million of revenue to a current expectation of $578 million, a dramatic guidance reduction of 23% of revenue. That's why the stock went down on what looked like a strong quarter. Irrespective of whether a company beats or misses expectations, raising forward guidance is usually a good thing for the stock price. The opposite is true with lowering guidance. It's usually a bad thing for the stock price, even if the company beat expectations for the current quarter. Like with weather, the future is what matters most to the stock market. So, guidance is usually the most important issue to investors. Is that always the case? No. Let me explain. One factor that can play a big role in determining a stock's reaction to guidance is the stock price performance right ahead of the quarterly report. This dynamic can best be explained with the old Wall Street adage, buy the rumor, and sell the news. Let me tell you a story that will help you understand this concept better. There was a young man named John who lived in a small town on a Caribbean island. One day, rumors swirl about recently captured pirates who hid stolen treasure in a cave near John's town. John waited until the newspapers confirmed the pirate rumors before looking for the treasure. It was too late. When he arrived at the cave, the chest was empty. Other townspeople went looking for the treasure as soon as they heard the rumors. They found it before John. Just like the case with the pirates' treasure, investors might buy a stock ahead of its quarterly report on rumors of good news, like the townspeople went looking for treasure on rumors of it. If the stock price rose substantially before the company reports, then it may already be discounting the good news. In these cases, the stock price may not go up after the report. The same is true when a stock price declines significantly before a bad report. Investors may have expected the bad news and the stock price already discounted that negative results ahead of the report. In these cases, you might not see a decline in stock price on the bad news. When you extend your investment horizon beyond the next quarter or two, earnings growth becomes a dominant factor in stock price performance over time. To understand this better, look at the graph on the slide. The green line represents a company's earnings per share over time, showing an upward slope as the company grows. This graph is crucial as it highlights why earnings growth is key to investment returns. The blue line, representing the stock price, moves up and down around the green earnings line, reflecting investor sentiment. Despite up and down fluctuations, the stock price generally rises over time, following the green line's upward trend. Even if you buy at a peak, as marked by the dotted red line, long-term growth usually ensures your investment increases in value. This is even the case if in the future investor sentiment is negative and the stock is at a low point, as marked by the green line. That's the power of long-term growth. The longer you hold a stock, the less your initial purchase price matters. Now let's look at a slow-growing company. The green line on this slide, showing earnings per share over time, has a much flatter slope due to lower growth. The blue line, representing the company's stock price, fluctuates above and below the green earnings line as investor sentiment changes. For a slow-growing company, it matters where you bought the stock. If you bought when the blue line was above the green line, you might lose money if the stock price falls below the green earnings line in the future. With a fast-growing company, the longer you hold the stock, the less it matters where you bought it because earnings per share grow rapidly. However, with slow growth, the initial purchase point is crucial since earnings growth is minimal. Is General Motors stock undervalued? The stock market, as measured by the S&P 500 index, is currently trading at 24 times this year's earnings. General Motors is trading at 5 times earnings. So, you can buy $1 of General Motors earnings for $5 while you have to spend $24 to buy $1 of earnings of the S&P 500 index. General Motors seems to be a bargain compared to the overall stock market, but looks can be deceiving. Why is General Motors so cheap compared to the overall stock market? Just as perplexing is the company's stock chart. General Motors' share price has basically done nothing for over a decade. That's why many investors call the company's stock a value trap. It always looks cheap, but the stock price has languished. Let's examine the company's earnings per share history to answer these questions. Presented on the slide is General Motors' earnings history. What do you notice? Like the stock chart, there hasn't been much change in the company's earnings. From 2018 to 2022, General Motors grew its earnings per share by only 11%. Pay attention to this point, because I'm about to show you that the link between earnings growth and stock price appreciation is very strong. Let's compare the earnings history of General Motors and Microsoft. What's the biggest difference you see between the two? From 2018 to 2022, while General Motors grew its earnings per share by only 11%, Microsoft grew its earnings per share by an astounding 353%. That big difference in growth is the reason why Microsoft trades at 39 times earnings and General Motors trades at only 5 times earnings. Now let's compare General Motors to the mobile phone giant Apple. Again, what do you notice? Over the period during which General Motors grew earnings by only 11%, Apple grew earnings by 105%. How about a comparison with NVIDIA, the super-hot AI semiconductor company? Well, NVIDIA grew their earnings by 218% from 2018 to 2022, also much more than General Motors. Are you seeing the pattern? Let's do one more comparison to make sure you are. This time, let's look at a company in a different sector than technology. United Healthcare, the biggest HMO company in the country, grew earnings by 74% over the period we've been discussing. That's almost 7 times more than General Motors. Here's a visual comparison of the earnings per share of all companies, excluding NVIDIA. The time period is extended back to 2011. As you can see, General Motors is the lowest and flattest line on the graph. What do you think the chart showing comparative stock price performance is going to look like? Here's the stock price performance comparison going back to 2011. Again, General Motors' stock price is the lowest and flattest line of the graph. Its stock price dramatically underperformed the other companies. Can you see the link between earnings growth and stock price performance when I put the two graphs together side by side? That link seems to be strong. You should remember that. I know you're thinking that I left out Nvidia. Here's what happens when I add it to the stock performance comparison. The company outperformed by so much that it makes the other four lines look relatively flat. It's tempting to think that searching out the lowest valued stocks is a way to find undervalued companies. Valuation is not as big a factor in determining stock returns as many people think. That's not always true, but over the past 4 decades, it's mostly been the case. An increasingly positive view of a company's long-term growth and profit potential fueled by a consistent stream of positive operating results is usually the biggest driver of a company's stock price. Congratulations! You have completed Lesson 7 Part 2.